Mario Kart World was the greatest shake-up to the formula since the series first began, and with it we get 30 interconnected tracks that make up an open world. And let me tell you, I have strong opinions on all of them and have made the definitive list of where they place. Despite having sat in my script for nearly half a year, I figured that I might as well finish what I started. I'm Jackie, and this is every course in Mario Kart World ranked. Kicking things off, we have a course that's sunk to the very bottom of my list, Wario's Galleon. This will be one of the controversial picks for me, but I stand by my opinion that Mario Kart 7's version of this course was far superior. The environment here is bland and lifeless. Whilst the 3DS featured a yellow and purple palette, the developers decided to go with a drab colour scheme. Multiple paths have been butchered since it's impossible to go underwater, simplified to the point of unrecognition. My biggest complaint of this course though doesn't stem from the track, but something far more frustrating: the water physics. Driving on water is the most excruciating thing I've endured. I have had constipation less painful to budge than playing one lap of this, let alone 3. It's no wonder this Galleon course is called Wario's Shipyard in other versions. It deserves to be forgotten about in the corner of the world. An old relic that will forever sit at the bottom of the water, and also at the bottom of this list. Coming next, we have Starview Peak. Nintendo clearly are gassing themselves up, of course, by calling it Peak. It dresses itself up as some Ice Ice Outpost's spiritual successor, but probably has as much personality as a glass of lukewarm tap water. The atmosphere of the track is breathtaking. It reminds me of the same awe that I had with Sherbet Land with the Aurora Borealis trail in the sky. But the course layout in Starview Peak is so forgettable, it has nothing going for it to stand out. Shortcuts don't even exist in this course except one cut right at the end. If someone told me that intermissions in Mario Kart World are boring and monotonous, I'd just show them this abomination. Even a Skulllectric track would have more depth than this. And the unfortunate cherry on top is the water section. It feels reminiscent of Loop-de-Loop Galaxy, but as if someone took a pair of scissors and cut like a schizophrenic. Potential for a great track, utterly let down by incompetent design. Salty Salty Speedway was one of the courses from the previews that I was anticipating the most out of any other. The idea of having a rushing river to traverse whilst racers glide over you and wall ride along fountain walls and grind over clotheslines was so intriguing and unique. Unfortunately, just like with most courses in this game, the water lets it down massively. I don't think I've raced down the water once deliberately unless I'm forced to by someone hitting me from the wall riding section. Whatever drugs the developers on when they created those physics, I want some of them, because clearly it did wonders for them in not giving a fuck. Next in our ranking we have Koopa Beach. To me, the biggest disappointment of this course is the scarcity of obstacles. This course had potential, but lacked content. Some rail grinds, a secret wall riding section, cheap swimming around to spin you out. Unfortunately, it feels like a bootleg rendition of Baby Park, and I don't even like that to begin with. And don't even get me started in the intermissions for this track either. Driving all the way from Peach Stadium to do a singular lap around this track is so underwhelming. Truly a course spoilt by a lack of consideration or care. As the world's centrepiece, Peach Stadium sure doesn't make good use of the opportunity. The course is a beginner-friendly course with a few secret paths, but not much else going for it. It's a shame as well because the Mario Kart World trailer conveyed a much grander experience than what we actually got, and the alternative version of the course, it's literally a fucking paperclip. We are racing on a piece of stationery turned into a course. What the fuck is this, Origami King? Such a blasé attempt at making a course that's meant to be the main stage of the game. Desert Hills. That's it. Seriously though, there's not much to talk about. Desert Hills is as close to the Gobi as you can get, completely and utterly barren. At least there's no mandatory water section to try and cross. The sand dunes that they've added are satisfying to trick from, and the Batadons are a nice nod to Super Mario Land. It's a shame that Nintendo didn't try to cram more into this banal course, compared to another desert track we'll talk about later on. Perhaps the pyramid from the original iteration with some rails to grind from or some brick walls to ride onto during the dune section. A real shame. An old idiom says that there's always the buzz of a city. Unfortunately for Crown City, it's the buzzing of an old smeg fridge in its last legs. The 3-lap variant of Crown City is rather impressive, taking you all around through dingy alleyways and around the bridge. What lets the course down though is just how desolate it is, especially on the straight sections. There's really nothing going on for it. Cars are few to none and there's no variety of obstacles to avoid whilst driving through. At least some of the shortcuts are nice though. Not much of a redeeming quality though, is it? Cheap Falls isn't my favourite course by any stretch of the imagination, but I can appreciate just how detailed it is. Racing down the rapids is very thrilling, albeit frustrating at times because of the physics. But I almost feel they decently designed the track, except the ending turn. My god, what intern designed this heap of shite? It's like that horse meme where they draw the first half perfectly, and then it ends up being something that you take home for your parents to hang in the fridge for like 2 days until your mum gets a fright at 3 in the morning and rips it down. Clearly someone was not having a good day when they designed this. Cheap falls down the list because of a cheap ending. Pretty poignant if you ask me. Here we'll be taking a break and enjoying the sights on Peach Beach, which features a unique twist. Instead of having the original course and going around it in the classic 3-lap style, you instead do 1 lap of the familiar layout and then go up to the resort area towering over the beach. Within this resort you'll see many paths filled with ramps, wall rides and rails to glide along. There's truly lots to do until you get to the final lap. What a bore. Why is there nothing at all for the last lap? No floating dinghies to trick from, no boat captures, no secret shortcuts, just a benign jet ski to the end with 1 left turn. Such a shame. If only that section was better, maybe Peach Beach could have been far higher in this ranking, but alas. Many of the greatest tracks of all time have taken place in the sky. Cloud Top Cruise, wait, not that one. Sky Garden, nope, not that one either. Big Blue, oh my goodness, definitely not. Okay, so courses in the sky have been dreadful thus far, but this course may have just saved it from the curse. Great question block runes. The level of depth to alternate paths is astounding. This track is World's equivalent to 8 Deluxe's Swamp Ruins. It's elegant and it's a track that oozes personality. The soundtrack for this course, especially when you reach it in the final 4 for the Cloud Rally, it's just so perfect in every aspect. But the saddest part for me regarding this course is that because there's an optimal path, especially with the shortcut that the Legend 27 posted for a bit of Reddit gold near the end, just completely ruins this course. Before the game was dissected under a microscope to shave milliseconds from records, this track was amazing. Now, I think it should just be forgotten about. Ever wanted Super Mario Odyssey to be in the new Mario Kart? I certainly didn't ask for it, but to anyone who enjoyed that game, you'll be sure to love Mario Kart World's take on Steam Gardens. Despite Dandelion Depths not appearing as much from the outside, there's quite a lot on offer. Plenty of rail grinding and wall riding sections, there's lots of paths to take, leading to some thrilling races. On top of all of this, it has a very satisfying water section, one of the best in the game honestly, and there's plenty of tricks to pull off, so it's not a detriment to the track like most water segments, but instead an asset. A great course overall. Mario Bros Circuit, the obligatory basic Mario themed course. Whilst a beginner track, there's a bit to appreciate about it. Plenty of rails to avoid attacks as well as take more unique paths, glider sections to gain some height and close contact. Even rail sections for you to grind about the audience for that extra bit of flair. Beyond this though, the track is plain. It was created with the purpose of introducing new concepts to players and it succeeds at this goal. The music is also great too. A fine course overall, but not one which captivates me for long. Mario Circuit again! What a surprise! Sarcasm aside, I'll give Nintendo this much. The continuous track by combining the first 3 Mario circuits together from the SNES is super unique, but that doesn't excuse the fact that this course is just a rehash of the same concept. There's a few shortcuts you can pull off though around the outside ramps which feel super satisfying to pull off. It's an honest day's work, but there's nothing stand out about it that makes me adamant to play it. Real potential could have been here for some amazing shortcuts, especially with the feather. Those Lego bricks were just waiting to be jumped over for some super shortcuts. Oh boy. Moo Moo Meadows. This course is definitely an interesting one. For some reason, they decided that a track that we've seen consistently for nearly 20 years deserves another 20 years of existing. Talk about beating a dead horse. Or cow, rather. Moo Moo Meadows by itself isn't a bad track. Some of the improvements are great. For one, I'm glad that there's variation in height made for more trick opportunities, and the removal of the ramp at the centre gives you a real point to use in the glider ramp. Unlike its deluxe counterpart, where going for it was merely for style points. But I have more of a hatred of the fact that Moo Moo Meadow's presence is like a rash that just doesn't go away. There really wasn't any other farm-related track they could have brought back. Not even N64 Moo Moo Farm. There would have been plenty of opportunities to bring that track back. Rail and wall riding opportunities galore with overhead bridges. It's a damn shame, but I'll be thankful for small mercies. What better for a racing course than an African rally route? Faroe Oasis is an example of great theming let down by bad course design. If the course didn't involve so much water, it could have been amazing. Surprisingly, I actually appreciate the waterfall section near the end of the course. It's led to some hilarious moments on my streams with regards to being hit and sliding off in a nail-biting finish. My biggest peeve with this course, however, is a variety of animals on show, especially in the thumbnail. Why not have these animals running around and knocking players off? I know they're in intermissions, but what was stopping Nintendo from implementing them into the actual 3-lap classic course? A massive missed opportunity. It's a tradition of mine that in every Mario Kart game, I hate any haunted theme courses. Twisted Mansion, Banshee Boardwalk, Luigi's Mansion, but when I played Boo Cinema for the first time, I was amazed at how creative this course is. Starting from an abandoned cinema, you then jump into the picture that's playing, turning your camera into a sepia-stained view, riding on reels of film with a screaming Peach on them. It's such a unique atmosphere, and I love how thrilling the course is. It's absolute cinema. Boo Cinema is undoubtedly the greatest spooky track ever created for a Mario Kart game, and I'm so glad they took a unique spin on a course cliche. Choco Mountain is a course that we've seen return a few times, but its interpretation in Mario Kart World is easily the greatest one I've seen. What makes this version of the course intriguing is the removal of the sweeping walls surrounding the course and opening it up to be on an industrial site filled with charging chucks. The replacement of the walls with slow mud provides some great mushroom opportunities, and the mud boulders feel more like a hazard compared to older versions. Plus, who wouldn't want to jump into the Willy Wonka chocolate river? Don't ask me whether I look like Augustus Gloop. The first time I laid eyes on DK Spaceport from the Nintendo Treehouse footage, it was a course that completely blew me away. Transforming the original 50-metre stage from the Donkey Kong arcade game was incredible, with a Gundam-styled mechanical Kong robot to suit, containing little touches like jump pads that make the barrel jump sound, and the music picking up the higher you go until you reach the top and hear the Super Hammer music to pass Mecha DK. However, this same source of inspiration for a unique track contributes to fundamental problems with the course. The design of the course is very specific and geometric to the original. It reminds me more of Slime Scraper from Fall Guys, or a Snakes and Ladders game, except the ladders are the items you get, and the snakes are the friends that you thought you had until they slow down behind you and hit you with 3 red shells. Fuck you, Chessman. When I first saw the retro tracks in the game, I was perplexed as to why they would remove the console prefix from the course name. However, after seeing Dino Dino Jungle and how much it was transformed, it not only made sense, but also made me feel very proud that they took a completely different avenue for the redesign. Instead of taking place in a jungle, they've turned it into a Jurassic Park laboratory, where with every lap, dinosaurs are roaming around and even a T-Rex escapes from its enclosure to gobble you up as you race past the stomps. Along with all of the various paths you can take, including up a dinosaur's tail, it's an amazing upgrade on the original. A brilliant course overall. When I first spotted Sky High Sundae in Mario Kart, my heart sank. How out of every course from Mario Kart 8 and Deluxe, this sloppy excuse ends up appearing as Nintendo's standout choice. But I was optimistic when I discovered just how different the course is. And let me say, this course has had a major glow up. What a difference two mechanics can make. My perception on this course has completely changed. The amount of paths to take, especially at the second straight with wall riding, rail grinding, shortcut and glider paths you can navigate through, makes this course virtually unrecognisable from its deluxe counterpart. This course is the biggest redemption I've ever seen in a retro track ever. It makes me wonder why Sky High Sundae was even a retro course at all. Maybe it was always intended for Mario Kart World. Whatever the case may be, I'm now an ice cream lover, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. Another course that filled me with dread is Wario Stadium. The original from Mario Kart 64 felt like completing a Le Mans 24 with a unicycle. Even Phileas Fogg wouldn't have done this in 80 days. So to see that the course had all of its useless turns hacked off was such a relief. because it feels like a true race course now, especially with all of the various shortcuts you can perform in the walls and rails using the many ramps to trick from. Just adds a layer of complexity to this course, which I love. The music is great too, a testament to just how great Mario Kart 64's soundtrack really was. It's earned its place amongst the best courses in Mario Kart World, and I couldn't imagine the game without it. Speaking of recurring course themes, we have Bowser's Castle. Just like the spooky tracks, the King Koopa's staple tracks are so unimaginative. Lava, bricks, Bowser statues, fire, how thrilling. So when I played the new version, I wasn't hopeful, but seeing the amount of complexity and creativity in this, it's hard to fault it. The atmosphere of the castle is palpable. Every alternate path gives you a sense of accomplishment, and I love that. You truly feel like you're vying for top spot, and that's what Mario Kart is all about. I especially love the soundtrack for this course. It's so intense and fits with the course perfectly. Easily the best Bowser's Castle in any Mario Kart to date. Whistle Stop Summit is a well-designed track, almost as if Merry Mountain defrosted and out came this majestic western style gem. It truly feels like an evolution from the original, taking all of its shortcomings like boring straightaways in exchange for winding sections taking you in all directions. Featuring a mix of weaving and overlaying rail and ground paths, you can choose wherever you want to go and not worry about the optimal path. And that's what I love about Mario Kart World. You don't feel forced to go for the best path. No matter how you get there, you'll have fun doing it, and this course showcases that. A great track that I'll be coming back to for the foreseeable future. It's a known fact that I'm not a fan of Donkey Kong courses. DK Jungle from the 3DS is one of the most abhorrent abominations ever conceived for a Mario Kart game. On the opposite end of the spectrum, instead of having Donkey Kong in his natural habitat of the tropical rainforest, we have him owning his own ski resort. And I've got to say, it's a blast to play on. The amount of little shortcuts hidden in plain sight that can be performed is great. Riding along the curves of the mountain and hitting some of the shortcuts through the snow is amazing. Not to mention the banger that plays alongside the track. Always excited to play this whenever it's chosen. Shy Guy Bazaar was always a personal favourite of mine in Mario Kart 7. It was a beautiful course with great attention to detail. In Mario Kart World, everything I thought I knew about this course was completely thrown out of the window. Even now, this is a course that is still surprising me. The amount of routes and paths one can take is limitless, and this course showcases the new mechanics masterfully. This truly feels like an evolution from the previous iteration. Jumping from 8 to 24 players, it turns the chaos up to the max. Combine that with the numerous routes you can take to get to the finish line, it's no wonder that Nintendo has used Shy Guy Bazaar in pretty much every gameplay trailer of World that I've seen. I adore this track, and I am so glad that they included it. I'll admit this right now, I have never truly been a fan of Mario Kart Wii and its courses, so when I saw that Toad's Factory was coming back, I wasn't all that thrilled, especially with how poor the experience was in Mushroom Gorge and the bouncy mushrooms being unpredictable and sometimes making you overshoot and fall. And yet, I feel like Mario Kart World wouldn't be the same without Toad's Factory. It's an integral part of the world that's been built, the loop track that we all deserved. Now, I know that the design of the course kind of looks like a Jacob's cream cracker that someone's taken a little nibble out of because they were hungry, but the amount of touches and details on this map truly showcases Nintendo's attention to detail. I'm so glad that I was proven wrong on Toad's Factory. Now, I have a confession to make. I have never played Mario Kart DS. I know that'll upset all 4 fans, but it is true. Whilst I've never played it, I was curious to see all of the modern interpretation of the DS tracks. As this list is shown, some aged like fine wine, others aged like a pint of milk that someone's forgot about sitting in the back of their fridge. However, the best showcase of these inclusions has to be Airship Fortress. What a standout pick. The hidden details are pristine, and the rail grind moves you can perform feel super satisfying to pull off. The course also forces close competition through tight turns, narrow corridors with moving burners, and spiralling ramps. A brilliant course that I love playing time and time again. I think the majority of Mario Kart 8 players will agree with the sentiment. The Bone Dry Dunes was by far one of the weakest Nitro tracks in the game. One-dimensional, and the course design was awful. Nothing stood out about the course. So comparing that the brand new Dry Bones Burnout, it's like night and day. This track leans into a Day of the Dead design with vibrant colours and patterns scattered across the map. The track contains multiple split paths that you can freely move between, a beautiful Dry Bones skull centrepiece with blue lights as glowing eyes, and a wild final section with over 10 different paths and an optional glider section. This is a Mario Kart World's player's dream playground, filled to the brim with both good track design and atmosphere. They nailed it. My favourite course from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was Wild Woods, and whilst I knew that it'd be fundamentally impossible to bring it back due to the lack of anti-gravity, I was hoping that we would get some spiritual successor to the greatest track in Mario Kart 8. And my goodness, I was not expecting this. Acorn Heights is mesmerising to race on. Traversing through the deep forest with paths everywhere is such a refreshing experience compared with 8 Deluxe's linearity. You have the choice of vines, leaves, mushrooms, dirt wall rides, mud shortcuts, as well as the forest floor to use for tricking and traversing to get in front. And once you're through it all, you still have multiple pathways by driving up different tree roots and oversized flower stems. The level of precision and detail that went into creating this course, they truly thought of everything. And don't even get me started in the music. What an absolute bop. Definitely has its roots firmly planted in Wild Woods. Now, I may be biased, but whoever the bagpipe player is, they're making me proud to be Scottish. I'm always excited for the chaos that will unfold whenever this course pops up online. A standout location in Mario Kart World. Mario Kart World Rainbow Road might not just be the greatest track in this game, but the greatest track ever created. Every aspect of this course is done with a subtlety that I have never experienced in a Mario Kart game until the first time I played this. Being in an era where every slither of gameplay footage and tiny pixelated screenshots taken with a Motorola flip phone are gobbled up by the masses daily, it's a miracle that none of Rainbow Road, besides a blurry map preview icon, leaked to the public until the launch of the game. And my god, what a well kept secret it must have been. The course starts off at Peach Stadium, you glide down into the water below and boost straight into the sky using a launch star to arrive at the beginning of the road, where there are 4 distinct sections waiting for you. The first section is a taster of what's to come, wide bends and split paths with glider breaks interconnecting the sections. Then arriving at the second section, you are greeted to a water stream with luminous cheering from the sidelines as you make your way through twists and turns to arrive at the third section. Wii U Rainbow Road, if it was actually good. Sorry, I mean a space station filled with right angle corners and rainbow gleaming thwomps that just feels amazing to race through, with a direct push to the final part of Rainbow Road. 2 paths twist and turn into one another akin to an anti-gravity course from Deluxe, where you can see the entirety of the map below filled with the lights of the traffic and the magic of it all. To top it all off, a train featuring characters and references to every course within the game are cheering you on to the end, where you perform a final glide to cross the floating finish line and arrive back where you started. It just feels so perfect. Everything about this course, down to the minute details, are just sublime. This is a feast for the eyes and it is nothing short of perfect. What an amazing way to finish this game.